What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Power Book 4, Force Tommy's Story. This is Season 1, Episode 2. So, once again, a lot went down in this episode. There were things that I really liked that went down in this episode, and there were things that I was very questionable about. But we're going to get to it. So, we start this episode off. We know Tommy decided to stay in Chicago, and we see this car roll up on a bar and shoot it up. Now, I immediately thought it was the bar that Tommy had been hanging out in with the black chick, because we know that Tommy, beat up the soldier for the Flynn family, and I thought maybe they had connected some dots and they were sending her a message. But what we find out is that it wasn't that bar. It was actually Tommy's half brother. His bar, his name is JP, and we see that he called Tommy, and Tommy basically asked the same question I asked him, was like, so you ain't got nobody else to call? You don't have no family? Like, if I weren't here, what were you going to do, kind of thing? And, he was like, I don't have any family, but I don't have anybody else to call. And Tommy was like, well, who do you owe? Like you behind on your payments, you're not paying for protection? And he was kind of like, well, how do you know? And Tommy was like, I could tell, the setup, this, and this, like, I'm a street guy. I see what I need to see, and I know what's up. And so he said, look, it wasn't in the budget this month. He said, me and my dad run this place together. My dad got sick. His medical bills are killing me, and I'm barely keeping this place open, much less being able to pay for protection. He said, this is like the third or fourth time they done shot me up this year. It is what it is. I just got to deal with it and move on. So Tommy offers him, he said, my ex-husband doesn't want to have anything to do with the place, when I call him about it or whatever. And so he looks at Tommy. He was like, is that a problem? Tommy's like, I don't give a damn. Love is love. Like, I don't, don't bother me none. So they threw a lot of this about this stepbrother, right? On top of the fact that he's Tommy's stepbrother out of nowhere, black guy out of nowhere. He's gay. Well, he's bisexual because he was also married at one point in time. He had a child who he doesn't have it, and I'm just throwing all this because this came up later on, but I just got to get it all out now before I forget, child. He has a child who is 16 years old, and that's going to be important later on, who he hasn't been able to have any contact with because I guess things between him and the mother didn't work out, and he said that the baby just vanished. He said, I fought really hard to be a part of his life, but, it just didn't happen because, basically things with him and the mother didn't get along. And he said, when I got out, so we know he's an ex-con, he bisexual, he got an ex-husband and an ex-wife, and he got a 16-year-old child roaming around Chicago, okay? That's a lot about the brother, but again, they gave us a lot in this episode. So Tommy gives him $10,000, and he was like, yo, that won't even make a dent in what I need to take care of. And Tommy was like, look, he said, and I didn't call you here for your money. And Tommy was like, well, that's what I got. You know what I mean? Like, you called me. I'm giving you the solution that I can offer. He said, but I got a way that we can make some more money. He was like, I'll be back. Now, my thing is this. With that conversation, if you are a former street dude, because you went to jail for something. I don't know what you went to jail for, but you have dibbled and dabbled in some criminal activity, or at least you were close enough to the criminal activity that somebody thought you was a part of it and you got convicted and went to jail. Like, okay, we don't know the whole story. You can clearly tell that Tommy is a street dude. When he said, I got a way to make some money, you already knew what he was about to get into. Like, you already knew it was about to be a hustle, right? So my thing with that is, when he show up, don't be mad about the money. Just take it. But we gonna get to that. So then we see, so Tommy leaves there, and then we see that, and this is one of the things that, one of the first things that I was like, okay, y'all really stretching it right now. We see Tommy drive by this engine, like this place, it says engine company, so I don't know if it's a former, like, firehouse or something, but it's for lease. So I'm like, okay, we know Tommy likes those, like, loft style type, places to live, open space and stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe that's what he gonna try to rent. And we'll come back to that. So we see no, I'm getting ahead of myself. So that wasn't the part I'm talking about. Okay, forget what I said. Okay, he rolled past that. Next, we see the Flynn family. We see Walter Flynn taking pills. He washing it down with some brown liquor. Now you know that's bad when you taking a pill and washing it down with some brown liquor. But it looks like he's sick and he's dying. Um, he's, Vic comes in and says, listen, we need to go to the doctor and we need to let, the sister know what's going on because she don't even know he's sick. And he was like, no doctors, and no, we don't need to tell her what's going on. He said, when I'm gone, and everything is going to belong to you. He was like, but we need to get in front of this, like, so what happened to mom doesn't happen to you. So again, we get some information there that their mother must have died from cancer or some sort of terminal illness. And he tells him, he was like, listen, I'm dying. Well, he didn't say this. This is me. This is me. Like, I'm dying. It is what it is. What we need to do is focus on making sure you're ready to take over the business. And he tells him, I built this business by doing things in the traditional way. And that's what you need to do. Don't come in here and try to change up shit and try to do things your way because it ain't going to work. And it's going to be a problem for the people we answer to. So that lets you know that he might be top of the totem pole in Chicago, but they have somebody that they answer to as well. And he was like, that ain't going to be a good thing. Like, don't. And of course, Vic ain't really trying to hear that because we know Vic want to do things his way, child. He want to do it the way he want to do it. Now, next we see Diamond at the barbershop with his brother. And his brother got all these, like, bodyguards and hitters surrounding the barbershop. And Diamond's trying to tell him, listen, I don't want these dudes here. He was like, first of all, it's going to make this whole situation hot. And that's not what I need. Second of all, they don't have no tech. All they want to do is shoot up shit. And again, it's going to make it hot. And his brother is trying to let him know this is what you need. Like, I've got you here, I got you protected, and you need to do what basically you need to follow my lead on this. So they are arguing, and Tommy rolls up. And of course, the bodyguard at the door, a little 16-year-old kid with dreads. That's important. We're gonna get to that later. Let me rewind. I'm sorry. Let me put a pin in that. See, I done got ahead of myself. Before Tommy shows up at the barbershop, this is the part that I was like, okay, y'all stretching my mind on this one, okay? We see, remember, let's go all the way back to Power. Remember the chick from the first episode of Power that Ghost let go? He ain't kill her. He let her go, but he didn't think that she saw his face, but she heard his voice, and I think she saw his shoes or something, but she had on them red sneakers or whatever. Well, it's her. Remember in Power, they still didn't kill her. They let her go. She said, again, I'm giving y'all some information from later on. She moved to Chicago to start, a new life or whatever. And she heard about some crazy white boy in town. And because of course, Tommy's the only crazy white boy from New York. So she thought it was Tommy. So she decided she thought Tommy was there looking for her. So she decided she would hunt Tommy down and get the drop on him before he could get the drop on her. So they in the alley. Somehow she found him in this big ass city of Chicago. She found him. Do you know that I live in Washington, D.C.? Do you know that people that I ain't seen in 30 years, and we go to the same places, we hang out the same places, we've known each other since high school or the neighborhood or whatever, and we don't never come across each other. We don't never come across each other. Yet, in this big ass city of Chicago, you done found Tommy. And not only did you find Tommy, you got the drop on Tommy. Anyway, they in the alley fighting, about to kill each other. She took out her knife. She done cut Tommy's coat. But here come the police. So the police basically made them stop. And she told Tommy, listen, I found you once. I'll find you again. He was like, yeah, whatever. You won't get the drop on me again. So they going back and forth, child. So, I'm sorry. So, then Tommy goes to the barbershop. I'm sorry. He's got this brown duffel bag. He goes in, and like I said, the bodyguard, little kid, stops him at the door. And, Tommy was like, Tommy basically was dismissing him and was like, look, I don't even have time for this bullshit. Like, is it what you want? So, Diamond was like, is this the white boy that basically got your shit? And, his brother was like, yeah, that's him. And so Tommy basically was like, listen, I come in peace. I bought you a gift. And he had the bag. And in the bag was the drugs. Remember, he gave the money back to Flynn. But he didn't give the drugs back to Flynn. So he told Diamond, he said, listen, this is a peace offering. I'm here. I come in peace. He said, and I'm giving you the drugs. He said, they've been stepped on with baby aspirin, but do what you can with them. And so Diamond was like, basically he was like, I kept the damn money. He said, well, I do things my way, you do things your way. Well, I think the brother said that. So, Diamond was, basically they got into, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. So Diamond was, he's sizing Tommy up. And this is the part of the episode that I did like, because you can see that Diamond and Tommy are old school. You can see that their thoughts process are the same. They think the same. They understand each other. They communicate without talking because they got that old school mindset on how things should be done. Because throughout this episode, they end up having to work together, but they were able to they were just on the same page. They just were on the same page. And that part of the episode, I really, really loved. I was like, absolutely, this is what I'm talking about right here. Well, it was actually, let me rewind that. It was money in the bag, and that's why the dude was like, you dumb, I would at least kept the money. And Tommy was like, well, I'm not you. Anyway. So Tommy basically was saying to Diamond, he was like, are we good? We done? Like, and Diamond was like, why would you do this? Because I didn't even know where you were. And Tommy was like, listen, I'm just trying to make it peace. Like, I'm good. We good though, right? So Tommy gets ready to leave, and the little bodyguard at the door stops him. And Tommy was like, yo, today ain't the day. And I'm like, y'all don't even know what y'all dealing with. Y'all need to let Tommy walk out that damn door. And he talking about something, it's always the day. So Tommy do what Tommy does. He started choking the dude. So, of course, next thing you know, it's guns everywhere. Guns, guns, guns. Diamond is trying to tell them, let him go. Drop your guns, let them go. The young boys was like, fuck you. We not listening to you. We not doing nothing until we get the nod from him. Talking about the brother. And so now you see the crack. You see the crack, and Tommy sees the crack. And Tommy immediately knows he got to end. If he trying to get in this situation, he know how to get in. That whole brother thing, there's a crack. Because at the end of the day, Diamond is the leader. But they don't recognize Diamond as the head of CBI. One, because he been locked up, and they don't know him like that. They know the brother. They don't know him like that. So Diamond, you can tell, is pissed because he used to, when he say something, they do it, not having to defer to his little brother. So the little brother says, go ahead, lower your weapons or whatever. So Diamond is pissed. Diamond was like, yo, I'm out. He picks up his jacket. He was like, I'm gone. He was like, Tommy, walk with me. And the brother immediately knows, Houston, we got a problem, right? So Diamond and Tommy are walking, and they get into a little conversation, and they get rolled up on, and they get kidnapped, right? Now, this goes back to the dude that was in jail. Come to find out, he put the dude in a wheelchair while they were in jail, and this is sort of the revenge. But you can tell that these two, it's a guy and a girl. One dude, he got on this like Versace jacket. That's important later. And you can tell they don't know what they're doing. Like, they had put hoods over them, kidnapped them, took them to this little empty building or whatever, and they take the hoods off. And so Diamond is like, listen, you want me, kill me, let him go. He don't have nothing to do with this. And they were like, well, we done already, he's seen our face now. Tommy was like, because you took the hood off. Like, duh. Like, that's kidnapping 101. Why you take the hood off? And so, y'all know Tommy just don't give a damn. So dude puts the gun to Tommy's head, and Diamond was like, listen, he don't have nothing to do with this. Just let him go. Do whatever you need to do with me, but let him go. So he said he don't have nothing to do with this. So Tommy ends up headbutting the dude with the gun. He talking about something, I got something to do with it now. I said, Tommy ass. So basically, they have to deliver a bunch of packages all around Chicago before a certain amount of time, bring back all of the money, or basically they're gonna kill him. So the rest of the day ends up turning into like this whole situation where Tommy and Diamond are riding around Chicago making these drops, right? And of course, because Diamond knows the city way better than Tommy does, Diamond's driving Tommy's car, and that becomes a situation. And Diamond was like, yo, the city is hot. Like, ain't nobody trying to be riding around with all these damn drugs and there's cops all over the place. And they were like, basically, that's a you problem. Like, y'all figure that out, So, while all of this is going on, we back at the Flynn household. So in the Flynn household, we got little sister is trying to get the family to move into designer drugs. Y'all know Vic, Big Dad. I mean, y'all know Walter ain't going for it, and Vic was like, "Listen, I hear what you saying, sis, but Daddy ain't going for it." And they end up getting to a whole argument about it. And once again, Walter tells her to stay in her place. Like he said, every couple of years, a new drug comes along, and guess what? It don't mean shit. This is slow and steady. It's our money maker. It's what we do. We don't have the energy or the time to be going left or going right. You stay center. The other thing we have going on is Vic goes to visit the bartender again. And again, what they sort of hinted at last week that I said in my review is sort of what came to pass. We found out that her and Vic, I guess they call themselves in love, but Vic has not is scared to tell his daddy. And basically he tells her, "Look, my daddy dying. And when he's dead, it's me and you. I don't have to tell him nothing. I just need you to be patient." And she was like, "Yeah, I can't do that." She said, "Because first of all, this ain't even a your daddy thing. This is your culture thing. So even once your daddy dies, they still not going to accept me. I'm still never going to be accepted in your circles. So at the end of the day, this ain't meant to be. It is what it is. And give me the key to my apartment back, because you can't just be popping up in here because you feel like it." Because that's what it was. She got out the shower and he was just sitting in the living room. He told her, "I ain't giving you your key back. You want your key changed? You want me out of here? You change your locks." I said, "I know that's right. You don't want me here? Change your locks." So Tommy and Diamond are riding around town. Of course, Diamond is scared like hell. He just got out of jail, and he is riding around with a car full of damn drugs. Tommy is a little bit cooler about it, but Diamond understands the whole concept of driving while black. And, they got, police rolled up behind him, one time, and he was nervous as hell. He just knew they was going to search him. Because he said, "Listen, this is how it works. The police, like, I get it. Like, you driving around black, we driving this nice-ass Mustang, 65 Mustang. Like, it's going to be some problems." Tommy, of course, he like, it is what it is. Now, Rojas, the dudes that then kidnapped them and got them on this, scavenger hunt around the city, they decided they need a little bit more of collateral. So they end up kidnapping Diamond's brother and basically telling him, "Listen, if you're not back within a certain amount of time with our money, basically your brother is going to be dead." So that adds a little more sense of urgency to the situation. So the first drop that they go to, Tommy goes in, and it's a female-led organization, right? They're like they speak Spanish. But Tommy makes a connection with her. They do the exchange. Everything is everything. And she basically says at the end, "Well, how can I find you if I need you again?" He was like, "Don't worry, I'll find you." So I feel like that's somebody he gonna reconnect with, right? Because this whole situation is setting Tommy up to get the connect, to know who the players are in the city and where to find them, right? That's what this whole drive around in this episode is about. So again, him and Diamond on the same page. Diamond knew, he's outside, got the car running, waiting for Tommy to come out, keeping his eyes on everything, making sure it went down the way it was supposed to go down. The second spot they get to is a Jewish spot. And the dude is taking forever. He got to test the drugs 3 different ways. And Diamond is like, "It's taking too long. It's taking too long." He goes in to try to make sure everything is everything with Tommy. And, it's a butcher shop on the front, and in the back, in the back doing their business. So he's, pretending like he ordering, the, corned beef or whatever, but he got an eye on the back. And dude know what, dude ain't stupid. Dude know what's up. But he waiting for him to make a move and making sure everything is everything. But he see that they still back there doing business. So he's just, biding his time. So Tommy ends up coming out, and then they roll out or whatever. The third spot they go to is a dope house. And Tommy was already nervous when he went up in there, because I'm sure he was thinking, "Yo, we are in a dope house. Like, who got that kind of money up in here?" So the dude, he gives the product to the dude. The dude, instead of the dude just tasting it, he actually takes a whole bump and passes out. So Tommy got to search him and get the money from him while he in this damn dope house, right? While this is going on outside, Diamond is in the car with the car running, and here come the police rolling up on him, and now they profiling him. They want to know who he is. They want him to hand them the license and registration. They want to know why he's driving this car. And Diamond was like, "I don't want to take my hands off the steering wheel. Like, this, I'm just letting you know, this is who I am. This is my friend's car. I'm waiting for him." Like, he didn't want to get too much, but at the same time, he knew what it was. Like, he was like, "I'm not about to give this man no excuse to shoot me." And it ends up escalating to the point where the dude actually does pull out his gun and tells him to get out the car. And Diamond was like, I'm not getting out the car. I won't make any sudden moves. You know, I'm fearful of my life. You know what I mean? Like he's playing, he's doing the whole thing. So Tommy ends up coming out, and Tommy was like, yo, is there a problem, officer? What's the problem? And he was like, oh, he was like, no. He said, well, is something wrong with my car? He was like, oh, this is your car? He was like, yeah, it's my car. He was like, well, does he have permission to drive it? He was like, yeah, that's my barber. His name is, you know, Donald, whatever, whatever. And Diamond is shocked because he actually knows his real name. So they de-escalate the situation. Now, here's another part that I felt was a little extra. They, Tommy gave him his license and registration, and Diamond was like, is it clean? He was like, it's clean. Ain't shit coming back. He was like, parking ticket? He was like, ain't shit coming back. Now, Tommy must have fake ID and fake registration on that car, because it ain't no way in hell that his name don't get flagged. It ain't no, just because you in Chicago, like nowadays, that shit is international. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Tommy Fegan, whatever his name is, doesn't get flagged somewhere. Come on now. Anyway. But nothing comes back, and they basically de-escalated, and they end up leaving. And of course, Diamond feels some kind of way, as he should. He said, you know, 15 years in jail, and we still got to deal with this bullshit, you know. So that's when he says, how you know my name? And Tommy let him know. He was like, listen, I make sure I know who I need to know. He said, oh, you saw my barber's license on the wall in the shop. Because when Tommy first went in the shop, he was walking around the shop looking at stuff on the wall. And again, he's casing. He's old school. He's paying attention to everything. And again, like I said, him and Diamond are on the same page. They are lockstep. You know, he knew exactly what Tommy was doing. He understood exactly the moves that Tommy was making. And like I said, a lot of times they were non-verbally communicating as they went through this situation. So they get back to the spot where they got to pick up his brother. And they're able to make the exchange, you know. They get his brother back. They get him get him their money, and it is what it is. So they all regroup back up with the brother and the brother's little henchman or whatever, and they sold the drugs that Tommy gave them. And so Diamond had already asked him earlier in the day, like, what kind of payday you looking for? And Tommy was like, whatever you gonna give me is whatever I'm gonna take. And so they made $25,000 off of it, so he gave Tommy the whole amount. And Tommy was like, you know, he said, you know, $25K for a day's work. Tommy was like, it is what it is. Thank you so much. So Diamond says, what is it you really trying to do? And, you know, like, why are you here? And Tommy said, I don't know, something about this city. I really like it. He said, you know, is that gonna be a problem? Diamond said, well, you know, time will tell. He said, well, I guess it will. And they just kind of parted on those terms. So then Tommy ends up going to hang out with his brother, and he ends up at the grandmother's house that he went to that first day. And the brother's there, and he's like, you know, welcome to grandma's house. And that's when they talk a little bit more. And he ends up showing him a videotape of Tommy with his mom when he was a kid. He said, now the mystery is solved. He was like, I'm looked at these tapes, and I didn't know who you were. Now I know who the little white kid is. So he gives the brother the $25,000, and the brother's like, what is this? And Tommy said, I told you I knew a way to make some money. And of course he don't want to take it, but Tommy just leaves it there, because what you gonna do now? The money here, you gonna spend it or you not? But I'm not taking it with me, basically. Then Tommy leaves there, and he hits up the bartender, and he's like, yo, can I come through? She was like, come on. So so we see Tommy and her at the bar talking, laughing, joking, having a drink. And who was across the street smoking a cigarette, mad as hell in his feelings? Vic. And he was like, this motherfucker. Because he already suspected that there was another man, because he had asked her. She told him no, but I don't think he believed her. Well, clearly he didn't believe her. And so now he see Tommy is still in town, and Tommy pushing up on his woman. We also see, like I said earlier, one of the soldiers, the CBI soldiers, with the dreads. Well, we see him later on that night, you know, putting up his work, whatever, and he opened up a little lockbox, and there's a picture of him as a baby with who? JP, Tommy's half brother. So we see that the long lost son that he lost contact with is working for CBI. So I'm sure that that's gonna all connect at some point. Before Tommy goes to the barbershop, goes down to the bar, we see him sitting on top of the car, and there are people in the trunk, and he's holding on to a Versace jacket. So we know who's in the trunk, and it's the car that they kidnapped them in earlier. So Tommy done found them. Tommy done got them in the trunk, and basically Tommy sets the car on fire. Now here's my problem. Tommy dropped that bottle. He got his fingerprints on there, and again, you're not going to sit here and tell me that Tommy's fingerprints ain't in somebody's system. So you just going to drop bottles, because I'm sure if any police officer going to pick that bottle up, because it's literally sitting right there where the trail ends with the damn gasoline or the liquor, the alcohol trail. I'm like, okay, now we're doing a little too much, because he should have at least picked up the bottle. I'm just saying. I know that might be petty, but I don't think it is. So he goes by the barbershop to see Diamond and them. He knocks on the window, and he just holds up the Versace jacket, letting them know, I got him. And they hit him with the nod. And basically it's that again, that unspoken understanding of what it was. Like, I took care of that problem, right? Last but not least, we see Tommy go back past that engine house that we talked about before. He knocks on the door, and the dude was like, the game was over already. And Tommy was like, basically, I want to rent this place. I need you to move out tonight. He got a little gun, to the dude's head. And he gives him some money. He said, you forget that I was over here. So dude was like, I don't know. I got a pretty good memory. So Tommy gives him a little bit more money and was like, you get the hell out. He told me something, let me go get my toothbrush. Tommy was like, you can go buy a new one. Get out. So he basically takes over this man's spot. He did have a sign up there that said it was police, but damn. And there's a map of Chicago, and we see Tommy start studying the map, because again, new to the city, he got to figure it all out. And that's where the episode ends. So look, it was a lot that went down. I ain't gonna say it was all over the place, but I see how they're setting us up. Oh no, pause, one more thing. Tommy rolls up on old girl again, and they get to fighting, and they trying to kill each other, because Tommy doesn't believe her that she just happens to be there, and she doesn't believe him. She thinks he came there looking to kill her, and he thinks that she was looking for him, anyway, or that somebody from New York sent her, because she was like, who else knows I'm here? Tommy was like, who else knows I'm here? And she was like, nobody, I'm here by myself. He was like, I don't believe that shit. Like, who else knows I'm here? So they end up Tommy, they fighting, and Tommy ends up smashing his foot through the floor of the house, because he was trying to stomp her in the damn head. And he finds a package of drugs with a spider on it, and he was like, oh, well, looky. And again, and that's how the episode ends. So looks like they're gonna be working together. And again, I see how they set this up for Tommy to basically establish himself in the city. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in those comments. Peace.